Good day, good day, good day, good day, good day. And we are into the YouTube segment where we'll be talking to Mr. Marvin Douglas. And he's going to tell us who he is. You know, I like to do that. And he's going to tell us who he is in a minute. But I want to invite you over, all our listeners, I want to invite you over to the YouTube segment so you can give your comments, your feedback, because we want to talk about insurance. Hello, Mr. Douglas. Good morning to you.
Pleasant good morning, Minister Renae.
Right? I'm not here, Mr. Douglas. Oh, Lord.
You're not
All
you're not
right.
hearing me?
Give
I'm
me a
hearing you
second.
clearly.
I don't know what's going on,
I
but I
I'm
started having
I'm
that
hearing you
problem earlier.
clearly.
Don't move, Mr. Douglas. Let me just try and fix this problem. So I want to encourage us to jump on over to the YouTube segment where we're talking to Mr. Douglas. Mr. Douglas, go ahead again. Let me see.
All right, pleasant morning to you again. Are you hearing me clearly now?
I'm telling you, I'm becoming a prof, you know.
Yes?
I'm taking over the technical department's job. I'm so good. We give God thanks. So it's good to have you, Mr. Douglas. It's good to have you. It's good to
It
have
is.
you. So, as we proceed this morning in this conversation about car and home insurance, I know the car insurance, everybody will jump onto that and want to talk about that. But the home insurance, as someone was saying earlier in the WhatsApp on air, that sometimes people don't want the home insurance because when they're supposed to get their little dividends, it takes forever. So we want to talk a little bit, of course, about both insurance. And so just tell us where you're from, Douglas. Tell us your name, where you're from, for the benefit of those who are listening for the very first time.
All right. So good morning again, everybody. Um, my name is Marvin Douglas. I am agency manager at Marathon Insurance Brokers. Yes, we are located at 46 Trinidad Terrace here in New Kingston. I I usually boast that Marathon Insurance Brokers is the leading insurance brokerage in Jamaica, land we love. But separate and apart from me being here at Marathon Insurance Brokers, we always mention that I am a son of the living King,
Absolutely.
Son of God, and I worship at Liberty for Living Ministries International, 32 Red Hills Road. All right. And for the benefit of those who are new, I am the husband of one wife, the fabulous Khalifa Douglas, and father to two beautiful children. So that is me in a nutshell, Minister Renee.
Thank you for sharing that with us. Now, we want to jump into the questions that we have on our table this morning.
Sure.
When we talk about insurance policy for motor vehicles,
Yes.
so we want you to tell the listeners and some viewers, um, when you're choosing an insurance for your car insurance,
Yes.
right? Good morning, Pastor Clive. What should a person look for? Now, you are speaking for those in Jamaica, living in Jamaica, but I'm sure some of it can be applied to international standards as well. What are some things that we should look at when we talk about car insurance policies?
All right. So let me say this. I'm glad that you said what you said just now. The information that I'm giving is specific to our jurisdiction here in Jamaica, but a lot of it does apply to other jurisdictions. You recognize, especially for those in England, or Insurance Act and theirs is pretty much the same, right? Same thing happens though a lot in Canada, some of it in Canada, and even in the US.
Okay.
So when one is looking at motor insurance, there are a few things that they want to consider. The first being the limits of liability. That refers to how much benefit you get in the event in an accident, in terms of if what's a limit, in terms of any one accident or to any one person or to any one property. So
Oh,
we talk about the limits of liability. Now,
mhm.
most companies come with a standard limit of 3 million, 5 million, 3 million, right? You hear them talk about 353, but then you have the option to get an increased limit of liability where you can increase that 3 million to 5 million, or you can increase that 3 million to 10 million. Why
Okay.
is that important? You Minister Renee, you bought your brand new $15 million vehicle, and as an accident, it wasn't intentional. I used my $2 million vehicle to hit yours, and the cost of the damage is, say, $5 million, right? And the company decides, all right, cool, it's less than half of the cost of the value of the vehicle. They're not going to write it off because it depends on the damage, it can be fixed, right? So they decide to, the insurance will cover. But my coverage only had a limit of $3 million. It means then that my insurance company will only pay $3 million, and then the other 2 million you will have to come after me via a civil suit to recover the $2 million.
You have to pay out
I
of pocket.
out of pocket. So I have insurance, but I don't have enough insurance. So the limits of liability is definitely something to consider when you're getting the insurance. So that is something that you would want to discuss with your insurance advisor. Uh, I am getting, so what are my limits? And they will
Yeah.
say, all right, it's 3 million, whatever it is. And I say, but can't it be a little higher than that? They say certainly. A lot of times you recognize that the increased limits, it's a matter of yes, it costs more, but the
Because I was
difference
about to ask that question.
the difference is usually minuscule. So I say to somebody, the difference between 3 million, a 3 million limit, and a 10 million limit, maybe 5 or 6 or 7,000 Jamaican dollars. Yes. So it is only important. Nobody really sees the value of the insurance until they're in an accident.
That is it. Because now I was going to be provocative, because I was going to say to you, no, so I'm going to pay $6,000 more for my
Yes.
insurance that I was just paying 5,000. Now you're telling me to pay 10,000 or $11,000,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
and I've been driving for 20 years and I don't have any accident. And you're
Yes.
now telling me that it is best for me to do that.
Yeah, man. So just like with everything else, it is important for us to be prepared. And that is a part of the preparation. So as I say, I just gave you one option because maybe your budget allows you to increase it from $3 to $5 million and not necessarily 10. But it is a conversation worth having. Yes.
Mhm, mhm.
Especially when you would have, because most times motor vehicle insurance comes as a big financial investment for everybody, so to speak. Yeah, so it's something that needs protecting. As I was saying, I don't because of the time, and we can talk about it all day. The limits of liability is one, but definitely the coverage that you get on your policy is another thing to consider. And when I talk about coverage, I'm talking about the benefits. So
Mhm.
some benefits comes as standard, and some comes as what we refer to as rider benefits. They are add-ons. You can add things to your policy. These are important for you to consider because let's just look at it now. An accident occurs, you are out of your car for a couple of days. Some policies comes with a standard benefit where you get what you call an alternate um, vehicle, or you get a rental vehicle for a period. You can pay for 7 days. Typically, you can pay for 7 days, 14 days, or 21 days. Yes. but you know that. So some policies come with that as a standard benefit. Some it comes as a rider, so you will have to pay an additional amount for that. You have other rider benefits like we talk about, like a protected no claim. So you want to ensure that if you're in an accident, you don't lose your no claim discounts. That will pretty much hands down will cover will be most of the savings that you will have on your policy. So you look at exclusions on your policy. Are there anything excluded? Like you may have a policy, Minister Renee, that excludes a particular persons under a particular age group. Um, being on that particular policy. So based on those exclusions, persons, you may want to look at that in terms of you getting a policy. And another thing to consider before you jump in, it's the excess that you pay on your policy. That is of paramount importance for someone looking to get auto insurance. And what is the excess, you may ask? That is the amount that you, the insured, will have to cover. That's the portion that you will cover in the event of an accident claim being processed. That is typically 5%, but the excess can be 7.5% or it can be 10%. That is why I would have said to you, these are some of the things that you would definitely have to look out for
Mhm.
when looking auto insurance.
I remember some time ago, one of our cars, my husband, not everybody could drive it. So there were specific persons who were allowed to drive it. Do you pay more for that? What is that called? And do you pay more for it?
All right. So as I said, if it's an exclusion, as in as you described, some persons outside of a particular the license outside of a particular age and stuff, you can have that included, those persons included. But yes, it will come. It usually comes at an additional premium.
Okay.
Because remember, insurance is really a risk-based, it's a risk mitigation tool, so to speak. So the general mindset is that, hey, somebody with less experience may be a bit more susceptible
Yeah.
to an accident.
And then without skating on the highway here in Jamaica, everybody need to get insurance.
Yes.
Oh
Yeah, and
Lord.
definitely.
Because you are not, sometimes you're minding your own business jolly well going on, and somebody decides to run into your vehicle and to do something
And
uncalled
and
for.
based on and if that person doesn't have insurance, you want to ensure that there's a rider benefit that you have on your policy called
Jesus.
uninsured motorist. So again, that is when I speak of the coverage, that is something that you can have additional on your policy to ensure that your investment is protected.
What you saying to me? So, so interesting. So that means I can put something on a form of coverage where if somebody runs into my vehicle who is uninsured, I'm basically sort of ish okay. Depends on the measure of the
Yes,
damage.
that is correct.
I see, I see, I see, I see. So, let us move a little bit now over to the matter of home insurance. Because that
Yes.
one is a sticky one. But give me a minute. Let me say you are listening to the Optimal You, the YouTube segment, and I am your host and Life Coach Renae. If you are listening and you want to jump over onto YouTube and to give us, your feedback, some questions or whatever it is that you want to share, feel free to do so, or you can do so by WhatsApp at 825-343-4486. Now, Mr. Douglas,
Yes.
the
Is that?
matter of home insurance, no.
Mhm.
Because the truth of the matter is, I have a piece of land that I get from I inherit.
Yes.
Mhm. And I build my house on my inherited land. You understand? I never get the money from NHG. I throw some partner and I build my house on my inherited. Okay?
Hmm.
And it so happens that, I build my house. It's my house. It's my money and everything about it is mine.
Right.
And I didn't plan that where I didn't realize, that where I build the house, it's flood prone, but I
Mm.
don't have any insurance. Let's talk about home insurance.
All right. So home insurance, like auto insurance, becomes necessary in terms of protecting your investment, protecting that investment that you would have saved and through your partner, and you take care and you put it, you're poured in your all into it. I usually say to persons that your like our home is probably the single biggest investment that we make in life, financial investment,
I'm telling
and
you.
it's worth protecting. Yes. So similar to motor insurance, there are types of insurance, types of property. You have the regular property insurance, right? That covers the building itself, and then you have what we refer to as homeowners comprehensive that will cover building and the contents.
Hold on. Excuse me. So is that one insurance?
Well, it's one. It's two, but one is one with benefits, with more benefits. So you can just
Oh.
cover the property, the house alone,
Mm-hmm.
where the insurance will take care of damages to the house, to the physical structure,
Mm-hmm.
or you can have the policy where it covers both the physical structure and the contents, your furnitures and all of these things.
Oh. So okay. And what when we say furniture and all of these things, what does this include in that? What's inside?
Yeah, man, everything that you have inside your home that is of value, your your appliances, yeah, your furniture, your artwork, whatever is inside your house that is of value.
I see. But how do we determine which is best for us? The different types of these insurance. How do we determine which one is best for me? Because what if I just have like a one bedroom and I go on, you know what I mean? Do I really
All
need to
right.
insure it
So
and
I can tell you off the bat, it's always best to have, or it's always better in this case, because comparing to have the homeowners comprehensive where you have both property and contents, right? That
mm,
is always better to have. You will have a situation, as you mentioned in your scenario, where you build in a flood prone area.
mm,
No, depending on your location, you may have an exclusion to your policy. So they may say, okay, you know something, you went and you built in this flood prone area. So we will have insurance, but excluded from your coverage is flooding.
oh,
So we will cover for other perils or acts of God, but we won't cover for flooding based on where you live. I can tell you though, I can say this just to jump back a little. Some areas in Jamaica, based on your address, you pay a little bit more for motor insurance than if you live somewhere else.
I'm gonna need you to tell us about that.
Right?
That is a given.
Because if you live in St. Catherine, Portmore in particular, where the incidence of motor vehicle theft is so much higher than most places, there is an additional coverage based on that address. So if you move from Portmore and coming to Kingston, your motor insurance becomes a little less.
What you saying to me? Any
Yes.
word on Spanish Town?
That was Spanish Town, no, wait, name the two man. Portmore, St. Catherine. So some
You said
companies, so
not
some
something in St.
companies,
Catherine.
yeah, so some companies, so it is not the same. So whilst that's a general thing, it is not at the same level for everybody. And that is one of the benefits of using a broker who is able to compare
Oh,
all the different insurance companies and to see where you may be best placed based on your particular circumstance.
Let me send a message to the Christians. Do not give any false address based on this information that you are now hearing. Do not, I repeat, do
No,
not give false address.
yeah, we don't do that. We don't do that. We are people of integrity.
That is right.
We don't do that. We have to set an example for those looking on.
I pray the Lord. But Mr. Douglas, so you're saying, you see, why we have to consider a lot of things. That's why it's good to have these conversations, because even as a young person thinking about getting a place to live, buying a house, and all of these things, you have to also consider all of those things because these are more than overheads. You're thinking about the fact of where you're living, how it's going to cost you,
Yes.
you know and I'm sure the same thing probably applies with when it comes to home insurance. Some places are more expensive than some. Am I right to say so?
All right. So with home insurance, they look at, when when you do your motor insurance valuation, right? You see two
Mhm.
figures on it. You will see the market value, and you will see the for sale value,
Mhm.
right? But when you look on your property insurance, your home insurance, you will see the market value, and then you will see the replacement cost. So the market value may be different based on the location, but the replacement cost is, as the name suggests, the cost that it would take to replace the same structure. So the cost of the insurance is going to be based on the materials that are used to build the structure and otherwise. So with insurance, they talk about indemnifying you, putting you back in the position that you were before the peril or before the accident. That
Wow.
is why if it is that you lick up your car and that does the front bumper damage, but the back bumper they don't scrape up, the insurance company now go fix both bumpers. They might just fix the front one because they are putting you back in the position that you were prior to the accident. And the same thing with your property. So when you look about the property insurance, if you notice on the valuation, or if you go to and you speak to an insurance advisor, they will ask you, all right, where is the property located? What kind of structure is it? Is it board? Is it reinforced concrete? Is the roof zinc, or is it shingles? Is it slab? What kind of windows are there? So these are some of the things that they will ask. And when you do a valuation, these are the things that will show up in the valuation. So based on the things that are there, so you can't have one piece of plywood at the window will cost $10, and you have a fire and you expect the insurance company to pay you back for putting in nice French windows will cost $100. They might go give you back the cost you put up back your plywood.
These interviews really get into me. These interviews. Listen, so are you saying to me that so my house got burnt down with my plyboard window? So
Yes.
they are putting me back to the plyboard window.
Yes,
They can
ma'am.
give you a little extra so you can they say next time, please, because it's the plyboard why the place was on fire. So let us put in a good window.
No, put back, they're going to put back a plywood there for you because that was your building material of choice.
Ay, Jesus, Mr. Douglas. No, I don't mean to laugh. It's not serious. It's serious, but hello?
Yeah, man, you're being indemnified. That's the purpose of the insurance.
What heavens? No, man. So they can't even give you a little extra to help you to get a good window in? Not it, okay.
As a matter of fact, you must also remember, similar to how you have the excess
Uh-huh.
for the motor insurance, just to make it clear, it will be the same thing as a deductible for your health insurance, right? The amount of you pay, you have the
Mm.
excess for the motor insurance. It is really standard that ins- for property insurance, what the insurance company will cover is 85% of the the damage for the property.
Oh, not 100%?
you have a little burden to bear in all of this.
But I pay insurance. So the
Yes,
insurance needs to cover the entire cost.
it will
Where am
be
I going to find?
argued. It will be argued that if they're going to do that, they're going to have to charge you more.
Hey, you see, we really have to seek counsel with these things, you know. We
Yes.
really need to seek counsel because honestly, these are things to think about. We really have to seek counsel as it relates to life. I'm telling you. But let me ask you one more question, and then I Sister Andrea said, "Why, Sister Andrea, you feel it the way I feel it, sister. You feel it like I feel it. I'm telling you." So, question: is there something for renters, like persons who rent? Is there a renters insurance in Jamaica?
That's not something that we get often, but I'm
Mhm.
glad that you mentioned it. Yes.
Because I'm living in your house, and if anything happened to me in your house with my things and your house not insured, what is gonna happen?
All right. So this is something to note. Remember, I spoke about before I said that the renters insurance, it is not as widespread as regular property insurance. So not as many companies will do it, but it is available. All
Does
right.
Marathon do it?
Marathon as a broker, remember we represent everybody. So
So
yes.
you're broker.
So one
Okay,
can come to
okay.
Marathon and they can get renters insurance. So how does renters insurance differ from a property insurance per se?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I said just now, with insurance, the aim is to indemnify you. If you are renting a property, it means that you don't own the property. So you don't have insurable interest in that property. So you can't insure the building. What renter's insurance will cover are contents.
Oh.
So everything that you have in the building can be covered, but just not the building. So if you rent my property, I am supposed to have insurance for the property, and you can have insurance for the contents. Now, if even if I don't have insurance for the property, but you have insurance for the contents, if there is an act of God, if there is a disaster, some kind of peril occurs, and then you suffer loss, there's fire, your stuff got burned, then the renter's insurance will seek to replace your items. But then me the problem who with my building.
Mm-hmm. So I
Yes.
want the listeners of HGG to understand this. Those who are on Facebook, those who are on YouTube, and those who are listening via the app. Listen, if you are renting a property, those who are in Jamaica, we need to get. I'm going to work on getting someone from other countries. But if you have a property, you're renting a property, you need to insure your things, because in the event of anything, oh Lord, as they would say in Jamaica, dog nyam your supper, you have nothing to get, even though the insurance only giving you 85%. But nonetheless, it's better than zero, right? But you need, and if you want that kind of insurance, you can go to Marathon. Okay, you can go, they will send you to the relevant brokerage, and you, because it is critical for you to insure your property, insure your things. Because imagine you rent somewhere, and when you rent the place, no, the place flood or some electrical issues and all your stuff get burnt. You sit with your hand at your face. Hello? We don't want that. So, Mr. Douglas, we talk about financial stability. This is also a part of being financially stable when you have your insurance, because we don't know what tomorrow holds. Anything can happen, as they would say, any card can play. Anything can happen, and you wake up tomorrow or whatever, and you would have lost whether the contents of your house or your motor vehicle or whatever, right? What recommendations would you give? And I want to ask, because I didn't ask in the initial stage, which I should have. Do you have Christians coming to insure property? Do you have, is it something that you see the Christian community doing?
All right. So yes, you do have we do have Christians coming in. I can't say for certainty there is we have data that suggests who is Christian and who is not. But from personal experiences, I know
Right.
that we do have a number of Christians. But in speaking with Christians outside of the company, I do know that we have too many Christians not with their properties not insured.
I know that with NHT, that is done for those who have with NHT. I know they do some property insurance thing with
Yes, so
NHT.
usually, because remember, the lending institutions, they have an insurable interest in the mortgage, they have an insurable interest in the property. So they will ensure that the property is insured, and they ensure that that insurance is paid in the mortgage on a monthly basis. So they
Right.
will calculate that insurance and add it to the mortgage. But
So I
as
need
the,
to focus on the what is inside my house.
yes, yes.
Hold on a minute. I don't think I have insurance. I don't. Well, that is. Oh, so I need to look at what is inside my house to insure what is in my house.
Correct.
Okay, that is I have to write on my to-do list. Because seriously, because we don't know. We really don't know.
We
And we
don't.
can't go on as though we know what tomorrow holds. We might say, oh, well, like my house, for example, my house is kind of on a little rising. So flooding is almost like, you know, almost impossible, almost, right? But we don't know about fire and other things. So we have to, this is something to think about. Mr. Douglas, it's always so good to have you.
It's always my pleasure being here.
The information is invaluable. Believe you me. I know sometimes I might sound very shocked, but I might be old in age with a lot of things certain things I don't know because I don't, you know, get into that. But let me tell you, very informative. And we look forward to continue talking about insurance for the rest of October. What would you leave with the listeners and the viewers today as it relates to insurance? Since we're talking about car and home insurance, what word would you leave to our listeners and
All right.
viewers?
I would say, off the bat, insurance for motor and property are important simply because these usually represent two of the greatest financial investments that we make. Cool. So outside of that, now I would say speak to a broker. Give us a call at Marathon
Mhm.
and ask the question: what does my insurance cover?
Yeah.
How can I get more? How can I ensure that against all possibilities I am covered for the best possible price? So we will always be able to look across the board, look at what exists, look at your situation, and then we come up with the best possible. You see, here at Marathon, we have our online platform, MIB Insure, where one can stay at home and one can put in the information and can get the details as to what the cost of insurance is, and they get comparable quotes. Know what GK will offer, know what General Accident will offer, know what Key will offer, all from our platform. And if you want to go ahead and even say effect your insurance, you can do so from the confines of your home or your office. And if you want to speak to somebody who may be able to give you a little bit more information, because sometimes you want that personal touch, you can give us a call.
Thank you so much, Mr. Douglas. This was, as I said before, it's very informative, invaluable information, and we look forward to having one more conversation such as this next time, next week, God's willing, and all things being equal. Thank you, sir, and have an outstanding rest of the day.
Thank you very much, and peace be with you and all of your listeners.
Bless you, sir. Bye. Guys, talk about information, huh? Information. Listen, I'm sure some of what was shared today you didn't even know. Some of it I didn't know. And if I knew it, I didn't really zero in on it. Yes. And I'm sure that you got some information today as to what is when we speak about car insurance and home insurance. No, honestly, I didn't know they were just going to give you 85%. Huh? I'm thinking they'll give me 100% to fix back my place. But Mr. Douglas says 85%. Go and find the other 25. Okay? And to fix the place up. Right. So we thank Mr. Douglas from Marathon. If you have any questions, if you need a contact, feel free to reach out to us at HGG Radio, Higher Ground Gospel Radio at 825-343-4486. We're going to run back over to our YouTube to studio, and we're going to be listening to the optimal. We're going to be listening to the Bus Stop Crew. Yeah, that's it. Bye, guys. Thank you for joining me on the YouTube segment. We'll do it again next week. Bye. See you.